There's a lot of issues surrounding the FIFA World Cup. I can't possibly discuss everything right now, but as at the time of recording this video, there's been a lot of issues about the ticket sales. Fans are complaining about FIFA and the way they have structured the allocation of the tickets and even the reselling. FIFA is now directly involved in the reselling of tickets, and they get some sort of cut, about 25% from every resale of World Cup tickets. And then the tickets are really astronomical compared to, I saw a comparison with the ticket prices and what it will cost entirely for flights, accommodation to the World Cup in Qatar and all of that, for like maybe England, France, for example, and it was almost 10 times more than what they were going to spend. So people have been complaining about this and all of that. And FIFA's response to this was to introduce what they call I think a supporter tier ticket or something like that. I don't know the exact name they call it right now, where they basically said that they are going to allocate. So first off, it's going to be 8% of the entire stadium's capacity. So for example, if the stadium's capacity is about 50,000, there's going to be about say 4,000 something tickets that will be put aside. Then out of that 4,000, there will be 10% of that 4,000, which will be about 400 and something, will now be given directly to the federations of all 48 teams that have qualified, to be sold at a very much discounted price. Now, that ticket is assumed that that ticket will be given to the most loyal fans of the country, people who have always gone to tournaments to support the national teams. And so FIFA have left it to the prerogative of the federations to allocate the tickets however they deem fit. So, but obviously that's still not gone down well with the fans. They think that FIFA are just taking the easy way out. And ultimately, the people who probably can make more impact on this issue are people who benefit a lot from FIFA, because now FIFA has now gone on to say that the World Cup prize pot is going to be increased by 50%, right? So that means that the winners get up to about 37 million or so, and then teams that are participating get at least 9 million or so. And so it's a lot of money. So when FIFA is giving out this money to federations like that, how do you expect them to protest the high cost of tickets? The federations are not going to see anything. The federation president are not going to see anything. It's so much windfall for them. So it's just what it is. The way this thing works is when every tournament comes around and people complain about ticket prices and all of that, the people who are ultimately benefiting from this money, the people who a large chunk of this money goes to, is the federations. And what that does for the leadership of FIFA, and in particular Gianni Infantino as of this moment, is that when it's time for re-election as the FIFA president, he's going to probably go unopposed or going to get the support of most of the federations, because he's just giving them money and giving them a lot of money to support football and all of that. So that's just what it is. Fans cannot really do anything about it. FIFA have just given them sort of a meager amount of tickets to say, okay, this is for the most loyal fans of your country, and that's the best we can do. Anything else is not our own doing. So ultimately, that's just what it is, especially with the ticket. And of course, there's the issue with the visas for the US in particular. Donald Trump being Donald Trump, since his tenure has, immigration to the US has become worse, and in particular affecting the World Cup. We saw at the World Cup draw, Iranian Football Federation officials being refused visas to attend the World Cup draw in Washington DC, and even recently the US again has imposed visa bans on a couple of countries, and some of those countries are countries that have qualified for the World Cup, but the US has said that the players and the officials and the players' families will be exempt from the visa bans, but most of the fans I don't think are exempt. So it's going to be really hard, and it remains to be seen how FIFA can help in this process. Usually in countries that host the tournament in recent times, that host certain tournaments, with the World Cup in Qatar and the AFCON in Morocco in particular, there is this thing where they introduce, where it's like an app where you can get your visa and everything in one place, But that's for countries that are sort of like welcoming to tourists. The US doesn't really care about that right now, so I don't expect them to do that in the months leading up to the World Cup. Obviously, Canada and Mexico is going to be easier for fans to go to the World Cup. So I think that fans of countries who are going to be playing their group games in Canada and Mexico are going to be more fortunate to watch. But the latter stages of this tournament will take place in the US. So it's not something you can really walk around. If your country is going to go far, you will still be affected directly or indirectly by the immigration policies of the US right now. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen in the months leading up to the World Cup, and how the America's immigration restrictions are going to affect the tournament in particular. But this is going to be one like no other. 48 teams, it promises to be one like no other. Obviously, people have questioned the quality of the tournament and how it's going to be. Is it going to be watered down and all of that? But in the same vein, you have the opportunities given to smaller nations to qualify, likes of Curacao and Cape Verde, making their festival World Cup. Small countries, island countries, just success stories and all. So there's obviously the good and the pros and cons of it. But obviously, I think it is a net positive to have 48 teams participate in the World Cup more than anything else. It is not so much about the issue of the quality of football. I think the fact that there are more countries participating and football is now spread to a wider global audience is a net positive for the game. And so, yeah, that's why I think the World Cup will be one like no other. It remains to be seen. It's a huge logistical arrangement for FIFA to organize World Cup in three equally large countries. USA and Canada are very large, and then Mexico is also quite large as well. So it is an unprecedented tournament. It remains to be seen how much FIFA would put into organizing this tournament. I expect them to deliver a masterpiece as always. With the World Cup, it's their biggest event, so I expect things to go on smoothly. Possibly where there will be more issues will probably even be in the US, but with things in Canada and Mexico will probably go more smoothly. The US will probably have the usual visa issues affecting the tournament, and then the weather problems like we saw in the Club World Cup. So yeah, that's just it for now. Nigeria didn't qualify, sadly. Let me just take a breath for that, because yeah, that weakened me in a way. But yeah, second time back to back we didn't qualify. There's still this issue of Nigeria taking Congo to FIFA and saying they fielded 9 ineligible players, and then there's this issue of whether Congo really violated any FIFA regulations or violated their own country's regulations, and if their own country's regulations affect the way FIFA sees things. But I'm not really sure if FIFA is going to rule in favor against Congo rather. And even if they do, there's also the issue of where does Cameroon come in, because Cameroon played Congo in the playoffs before Nigeria did. So it's just a lot of things that and those alleged ineligible players also played against Cameroon. So what happens? Does Nigeria go to the intercontinental playoffs to face Jamaica or New Caledonia in place of Congo, or does Nigeria get to play Cameroon again and Congo gets qualified? So it remains to be seen what's going to happen with that. So, but yeah, that's for now everything I have to say about the FIFA World Cup. Yeah, and that